A very good evening to everyone present with us at the moment, and I hope you all are in the best of your health. My name is Bhavya, and it's my pleasure to have you all in today's event of Extempore speech competition organized by Project Sahyog Junior Team as a part of our week-long celebration of International Women's Day. The event will be assessed by Rutuja Kamble, student of econometrics in University of Mumbai and grateful to be the team member here at Sarkari School. She loves finer things in life and is an admirer of art, nature and good music. We also have Ishita Bhatia doing BA in Political Science and English from Kirori Mal College, University of Delhi to assess the event along with Rutuja. Ishita has a lot of interest in debating and public speaking. It's my pleasure to have them with us today. Now, I would like Anubha to give us a brief description about Sarkari School and Project Sahyog.
Thank you, Bhavya. About SarkariSchool.in. Sarkari School is an initiative for enriching the value of government schools. It supports and provides aid in every possible way for the betterment of education of the younger generation as well as for those who have the ability to bring change in the old school thinking of the society. The organization supports and recognizes the selfless efforts of the people who want to create a difference through their hard work and determination for the betterment of the government school children. About Team Sahyog. Team Sahyog aims at giving educational opportunities as well as content to the school going students. The main objective is to create awareness about the basics of elementary subjects via conducting various activities such as summer camps, art and craft workshops, coding, etc. Thus unifying different sections of people for a same cause, that is, to raise the standards of educational content. Now, I would like Malishka to give us a brief introduction on today's topic of discussion.
Women constitute about 49.58% of the world's population and, of course, play a vital role in the smooth functioning of the society as par with men. Men and women are like the two most important pillars of the society. Without one of them, the society would collapse to ground immediately, and this fact is not unknown or very new. Unfortunately, even after knowing the importance of gender stereotypes, which revolve around both the genders, creating a huge gulf between them, these stereotypes are nothing new and have been prevalent since time immemorial. But being the citizens of the 21st century, how far are these stereotypes relevant to the society? Why do women face so much criticism when they do the same work as men? Why a woman is always scrutinized? Why is gender equality the need of the hour? First, we'll be explaining the general rules of the competition. First, every speaker will have 5 minutes to speak their part. The speakers will be awarded marks out of 20, 5 for each categories. The categories are confidence and audacity of the speech, the content matter, plagiarism and originality, the content, precise language, words, understanding of thoughts, grammar and pronunciation. Fourth, creativity and authenticity. The medium of the speech can be both Hindi and English. It is mandatory for the participants to switch on their camera throughout the speech. Now, I would like to call Manasvi to introduce our participants. So, first up, speaking on the topic, we have Abira Das. Abira, you may start speaking your speech.
Okay, am I visible and audible?
Yeah, you're perfectly visible and audible.
All right. First of all, a very good evening to the organizers and my fellow speakers. And today, I, Abira Das, will be speaking on the topic why gender equality is the need of the hour. So, first of all, I would like to start off by quoting Kofi Annan, who had said that gender equality is more than a goal in itself. It's a precondition for meeting the challenge of reducing poverty, promoting sustainable development, and building good governance. Now, before we get into the topic, I would just like to clear the difference between gender and sex. Now, these two terms are used quite interchangeably when we are debating any topic of this nature. So, how do we define gender? According to the World Health Organization, gender is how a person expresses themselves, and sex is something that a person is assigned according to biological features, morphological and anatomical features at birth. So that's the difference between gender and sex. Now that we are clear, we can proceed. Um, Gender equality can be defined like, the equality in the rights, aspirations, and potential opportunities that are provided to men and women, while we are recognizing the diversity between men and women. Now, men and women are not necessarily the only two genders that exist, because as the world has grown, the modern world, and even in the ancient world, and even during all times, there have been many expressions of gender that is not contained by the binaries that we call men and women. However, to provide a simpler understanding of inequality that is persistent while we are exploring the spectrum that is gender, we explored the differences that are experienced by men and women. Now, gender discrimination or gender inequality is a social issue which has been persistent in our country, India, for like hundreds of years. We have been experiencing gender discrimination since the colonial rule. And in many parts of India, we all know that the birth of a woman or a child is not exactly welcomed. And even if we as girls or as women are provided a loving and supportive environment in our family when we are growing up, we do not necessarily receive the same kind of love, care, and support when we grow up and explore the world that is outside us. It is not very kind to girls and women. So, another thing which I want to point out is female infanticide is quite common in India. That is sex based abortion. And even though revealing the sex of the child has been banned in India, still illegal practices are quite persistent where female feticide happens in India, which leads to a very skewed up sex ratio in India. We all are aware of this. Gender discrimination causes many problems, and there are many types of instances of gender discrimination. For example, there is a lack of mobility. Now, let's think of the time when we look at our fathers or brothers, and we can see that at night or in the evening, whenever there is an errand to run, no one asks you or your sister to run the errand, okay, go to the market and buy this and buy that. It's always someone who is considered to be more reliable or more safer, like your brother or any other male figure, and they can move around as much as they want. They can go to their workplace at night, they can go and enjoy themselves at any particular time of the day. But that is not the same for women or girls whom we see at home, or our friends or acquaintances who are women. So this is one of the instances where gender inequality is there. And even though we define gender inequality as a wide word, and we think that it is quite complicated and it doesn't exist where we as a civilized society exist, but if we look around us, it is quite easy to spot the instances of gender inequality. And this is because we are conditioned to think that we have achieved freedom in a sense, like you and I can wear what we want, do what we do, and educate ourselves. But that is just a part of the freedom that we should receive, and not the complete essence of the freedom, that is gender equality. So, that being said, I would like to point out another instance of gender inequality: freedom of marriage. Now, all of us are aware that women, and especially women in Southeast Asian and African countries, we see instances of child marriages, honor killing, with no fundamental choice of partnership. And this leads to extreme violence in case where we see sexual violence within and outside of marriages. There are things, heinous things such as acid attacks, which are occurring. And this is also a result of gender inequality. Now, in India, marital rape is not even recognized as a crime under the IPC code. So, like, we are living in a country that ranks 140 out of the 156 countries assessed for gender inequality. There are discriminatory divorce rights, where in Middle East also divorce is governed by the religious ideals, which is mainly discriminating based on gender. On topics such as citizenship or even joining the army to combat, there exists a gender inequality where women are not allowed to serve in mandatory enlistments and in frontline combat. Custody rights, there exists gender inequality. In violence, there are professional obstacles where we cannot forward our careers due to gender inequality. There is restricted land ownership and poor access to education for women. Now, these are all problems that are resulting from the word gender inequality. But how can we resolve this, and why should we resolve this? First of all, in low income countries, gender inequality, the elimination of gender inequality leads to better economic growth. Because when half of the population consisting of women are educated and given better health care, they can become reliable workforces of the country who can provide market labor instead of being conditioned to produce or reproductive labor that is without any gratitude or money. So, when they educate themselves and are aware of their rights and their duties and are able to take care of their health without relying on their brothers, their sons, or husbands, they become productive citizens of the country who can help the country have an economic growth and also lead to social peace in the country. And also, it saves lives because 15 to 19-year-old women, according to the UNICEF, they are exposed to sexual violence due to gender inequality. When we educate not only women but boys, girls, and men, everybody, about gender inequality, these criminal offenses reduce by a lot by proper counseling. It helps businesses in other professional careers because we get successful women leaders from wrestling to businesses, and it shows that diversity can be existing in professional fields, and the children are healthier, becoming citizens with much better mindsets who
Okay,
can become
Abira, your
critical
time is up.
citizens. Yes, so as you can see, there are certain benefits which are linked with providing gender equality, and this is all achievable by you and I. Now, I would finally like to conclude by quoting Nelson Mandela that freedom cannot be achieved unless women have been emancipated from all kinds of oppression. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Abira. You stated some very valid points, and it's my pleasure to have you here. Next, I'd like to ask Laksh to continue and share his viewpoints.
My voice is audible and visible?
Yes, you're audible and visible.
Yes. Good evening, Manoj. Today, I, Laksh Mehra of class 10th, is going to present my views on the topic why is gender equality is being need and are. And I am from Himalaya Public Senior Secondary School. When we talk about gender equality, we will talk a person who wants to comment after any girl, any child, and she would not be able to think. Gender equality is the main thing what we explain about. Yes, we were talking about gender equality. Gender equality is the main thing that we the women's, and it is a gender we text like sex determination and all, all things is a very important thing to gender equality, and it is a needed and an art because there is we SSG groups and like be to go to in SSC groups like who a person who are coming from one place there will be no education and in this education we will talking about the gender like girls and boys and like male and female. Thank you.
Thank you, Laksh. It was great having you with us. Next, I'd like Arushi to speak up and share her views.
Abida and Laksh, you may leave. Thank you.
I guess Arushi is facing some problems. So, Anabia, you can continue with the presentation and share your views.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're very much audible. You can start.
Hello to one and all present here. I'm Anabi Asad, and today I'm going to talk about why is gender equality a need of ours. Gender equality is a social phenomenon in which men and women are not treated equally. In India, there are many causes of inequality, but the main causes are poverty, gender, religion, and caste. Gender equality is a fundamental human right and it's violated by gender based discrimination. According to United Children's Education Fund, UNICEF, poverty and local culture practices a big role in gender inequality in education throughout India. There are, I feel there are possible ways to avoid discrimination, enhance social services and ensure access to social protection, facilitate safe migration and mobility, and tackle irregular migrations, invest more for and support in low income unfunded schools, raise aspirations for girls and their parents. Thank you and have a fruitful day.
Thank you, Anabia. It was great having you with us. Next, I'd like Akshita to please continue and share her presentation, her viewpoints.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm audible.
Yeah, good evening, you're audible.
Okay, ma'am. Now, today I'm going to represent a speech on the topic the gender equality. In a equality, everyone has the right to lead his or her life accordingly with any discrimination. When this state is achieved where all individuals are considered to be equal respectively for their caste, gender, color, professional, and status, we call it equality. Equality can be also defined as the situation where every individual has the same right and equal opportunity to grow and prosper. Every individual of society dreams of equal rights and access to resource available at their disposal, but it's a lot of discriminations. Discriminations can be due to cultural differences, geographical differences, the color individual, social social status, and even gender. The most prevented discrimination is gender inequality. It's it is not localized issue and is limited to only certain spheres of life, but is prevented across the global. Even in professor society and top organization, we call see many example of basis. Gender equality is can be achieved when both males and females individual and treated similarly, but discrimination is social means that creates division. We stop being together and stand together to track and our problems. The social meaningfuls are that creates in division. We stop being together and stand together to track our problems. This social stigma has been creeping that unbelievably of all the society of many certain. This is also been witnessed in gender-based case. Gender inequality is that thing of the past, and both men and women are certain history in all segment together. Thank you, ma'am.
Akshata, it was great having you. You had some really valid points, and I appreciate you for that. Next, I'd like Ashna
Thank you,
to
ma'am.
share her views.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, am I visible and audible to you?
Yes, Ashna, you're visible and audible to me.
Okay, ma'am. Good morning, teachers and my dear friends. My name is Ashna Karwal of class 7th. My school name is St. Mark Senior Secondary Public School. Today, I am going to tell you something about gender equality. Equality or non discrimination is that state where every individual gets equal opportunities and rights. Every individual of the society yearns for equal status, opportunity, and rights. However, it is a general observation that there exists lots of discrimination between humans. Discrimination exists because of cultural differences, geographical differences, and gender. Inequality based on gender is a concern that is prevalent in the entire world. Even in the 21st century, across globe men and women do not enjoy equal privileges. Gender equality means providing equal opportunities to both men and women in political, economic, education, and health aspects. A nation can progress and attain higher development growth only when both men and women are entitled to equal opportunities. Women in the society are often concerned and are refrained from getting equal rights as men to health, education, decision making, and economic independence in terms of wages. The girls can do that boys cannot do. The social structure that prevails since long in such a way that girls do not get equal opportunities as men. Women generally are the caregivers in the family. Because of this, women are mostly involved in household activities. There is lesser participation of women in higher education, decision making roles, and leadership roles. This gender disparity is a hindrance in the growth rate of a country. When women participate in the workforce increases, the economic growth rate of the country increases. Gender equality increases the overall well-being of the nation along with economic prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashna. It was great having you. Next, I'd like Kaushiki to share her views.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Koshki Mandal, and today I would like to share my views on why gender equality is the need of the hour. I'm a strong believer in equality in all things, but today I would like to focus on gender equality specifically because it affects all of us and we need to do it better. I believe that men and women should be treated equally, and I'm not afraid to speak up on this matter. And no matter how uncomfortable on this matter, no matter how uncomfortable a topic it may be, but for some people, I'm a feminist and I will not apologize for wanting to be changed. I would like to share a quote which was quoted by Malala Yousafzai, traditions are not sent from heaven. They are not sent from God. It is we who make cultures, and we have the right to change it, and we should change it. There are so many negative gender stereotypes.
Sorry,
Many
Kaushika,
of
to interrupt. Jyotsna, please mute your mic.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, Kaushika, you can continue.
Yes, ma'am. There are so many negative gender stereotypes. Many of them are about girls. We are told that we are not smart as boys, and we are not smart as boys. We are not intelligent as boys. We need a husband to be happy. We have to be pretty to have any value. Well, I think these all of us sick of these stereotypes. None of these stereotypes apply to the majority of girls, and they definitely don't apply to me. I think a big part of the problem is that society see us as just a girl, not instead of seeing as a people. Boys are viewed as whole people, but a lot of them, the time girls are seen as inferior bodies that there are for boys pleasures and instead of people with real emotions, thoughts and feelings. Boys are needed to be lifted up from their stereotypes as well. They are taught they are taught that they should be masculine. They can't show emotions, they can't cry, they can't show affection. Well, it's hard not to being able to cry or to be upset. Emotions are a natural part of being human, and suppressing them can be psychologically wrong. Boys should be able to show their emotions without anyone thinking they are vicious or girly. And if they are called girly, being compared to a girl shouldn't be so devastating. How much boys can respect girls if he thought of being compared to them is so upsetting. If they think being feminine is such a bad thing, how are they ever going to be truly respect girls? I think we need to start representing a diversity in the media to encourage more inclusive gender norms. We should show the characters they are have different races, interests, sexual orientations, ideals, and body types. Girls whose main contribution isn't just being boys' romantic interest. Boys who shows emotions and aren't considered less masculine for it. If we show more diverse characters and have them interact in authentic way, they may be our society gender norms and will shift to include more people. Our society has trapped itself in a gender norms that are not accurate or realistic, and if we want truly equality, then we need to fix them. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Kaushiki. Your points were very great. Like, I love the points. So, thank you for joining us. Next, I'd
Thank you,
like
ma'am.
Jyotsna to continue with the presentation.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yeah, sorry, ma'am. I'm really sorry. Nice
That's
to meet
okay.
you, and I'm really sorry that I joined late. Actually, I was joining through my laptop, but due to Zoom calls I used to
It's
take
okay.
from
It's
my laptop.
okay. You can continue.
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. My name is Jyotsna. Currently, I'm in class 9 standard, and my hobbies are dancing, singing, and listening to K-pop music. And my topic is why gender equality is a need of art. Have you ever wondered why our mothers don't work? Like many of us women who are our mothers don't work. And the reason is they were never taught to. Many women who are working are have come from a very long break path. And the reason is they were fighting against the society. In this world, in this society, women are subjected as an object. In this world, men are subjected to be as a masculine, a very muscular boy who used to be who has to take all the responsibility from the family. But the reason I'm asking from the society is why men should always be taken all these responsibilities, why women should always work in houses. The reason is they have always been taught like that, gender by genders, generations by generations. Everybody is like that. If you have seen our grandmothers who are just I guess 13, 14 years old, but they were getting married. It was child marriage, and we were always questioned like, I'm in class 9. I'm equal to my grandmother. And when she was 14, at my age, she was get married, and I'm still studying. That's very a huge difference about a generation. Think is that we projected like this, but think is we have changed. We are changing it. Why do we need gender equality? Because we want women to stand out. We have seen urban areas women are know their rights. They stand out. They open up by their work. But when we talk about rural areas, they are still just in their homes. They might be studied till 10th standard. They do not work. They directly get married. And when we saw urban men and rural men, they are mostly equal. Like they both work. They both are taught to be taken responsibilities. Many countries were standing for gender equality, like New Zealand, Australia. Their GDP and economically growth are getting higher than our country. We have talking about India. India, gender equality is a very big issue in India, a very controversial topic in India, because when the legal age of marriage was getting 18 to 21, many people were questioning why do we need it. But thing is, we need because people are supposed to getting married their daughters at the age of 18 only. Why we need gender equality and legal age of marriage? Because women are working, they want to work, but thing is that whenever they turn 18, when their career was going to be started, they were let, they were getting married. Women's, whenever they want to do something different, like they want to learn dance, they want to learn music, they want to do ballet, they are questioned low, like, boy, you're a boy, you can't do this. Well, you're subjected. They whenever they show their emotions, they are like, oh, you're a boy, you can't show your emotions, you're strong, you should not do that list and all. We have always been taught that women's and men's are very different. Women's are made for home, men's are made for work. But thing is, when we change, we have we have all have seen that Pratibha Patil was the first president of women in India. And comparing to country, USA, where a very developed world leader, we say that US is a world leader, where just in 2018 and 19, their first vice president was made. We can see changes in US and India. Both the countries are very different. But thing is that there are people who are living in US know their rights. They stand out. But in country in India, people are engaging to know their rights. But still, we are taught like this. In our education system, it starts with our education. It starts with our roots. When you are very young, people told us whenever a child girl is born, oh, so sad. That's you're just a girl child is born. That is so sad. Next, please try next time. It will be a boy. But when a boy is, oh my God, it's so good. It's a God gift. Let him do whatever he wants. Or don't try next time. You got a boy. This is so beautiful. This is so successful. He will really do something big in his life. It started with our roots, when our parents taught us to be different. When a child want to play, a girl child want to play with Marvel toys, they are like, oh, no, 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 you should play with dolls. Dolls are made for girls. Pink color is made for girls. And all these things, we stereotype our own gender, we stereotype our own childhood. We have always seen that whenever a little boy used to want anything, they directly get it. But when a girl wanted, she questions like, why do you need? Why you should get it? But thing is that we both were child. We never noticed this. But currently, when we saw childhood, we noticed that we were in a toxic childhood. We were taught to be like this. When we go to school, when we start our education, students are likely to be like very, when school taught us to be equal, when we studied about like currently I studied about French Revolution, how French women were used to be open up about their rights. Women were opening about their voter lines. They want vote, they want rights. In France, women, country like US and Australia, when where women were standing out. Still, India was there when women doesn't even know. It was the same time. the French women were fighting for their right. It was the same time when the New Zealand and Australia's women want their right. But still, why? Because they had education. They they know how to handle it. Thing is that whenever we get gender equality, we get more rights, we get more power of, and know how to do when something like that. When we get gender equality, we believe in feminism. When we get gender equality, we don't see which color, which toy, which career the boy and girl want to choose. Whenever we want to do something, nobody can question us. The thing is that we need gender equality, and this is very important for our world, because men and women both are human first. They don't see as different. Yes, our body is different. Yes, our thoughts can be different. But instead of neglecting each other, pushing each other down, we should support each other, have positive attitude, and wanted to bring change like our old generation did. If our old generation didn't fight for independence, I guess we might be a still slave for our Britishers. But if they fight, they were against the Britishers, then we got independence. Now we are studying because our old
Okay,
generation fight.
Jyotsna,
Same like,
your time is up.
yes,
You
ma'am.
may
Thank you,
conclude
sir.
your
And
speech.
yes, ma'am. So that is about my time. I speak about what I thought about this topic, and thank you for having me into time and for giving me this value. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Josna. You shared some real experiences, and I'm really happy for that. Well, Josna, Kaushiki, and Ashna, you three can lead, and Dimple, you can share your views.
Okay, ma'am. So can I start with my speaking, or I will tell
Yeah,
the
yeah, you can start.
topic? Okay. In this century, women and men are enjoying the same privileges. The perception is changing slowly but steadily. People are now becoming more aware of the rights and what they can do in a free society. It has been found that when women and men hold the same position and participate equally, society progresses exclusively and creates a landmark. When the same privileges and gets a similar scopes in education, health, occupation, and political aspect, even in the family, when both male and female members are treated in the same way, it is the best place to grow, learn, and a great value. A nation needs to value every gender equality to progress at the right place. A society attains better development in all aspects when both genders are entitled to similar opportunities, equal rights in decision making, health, political infrastructure, profession, etc. will surely advance our society to a new level. The social stigma of women staying inside the house has changed. Nowadays, girls are equally competing with boys in school and colleges. They are also creating landmark development in their respective professions. Women are now seeking economic independence before they get married. It gives them the confidence to stand against oppression and make the better decision for themselves. The age old social structure dictated that women need to stay inside the home taking care of all when men go out to earn bread and butter. This has been practiced for ages when the world outside was not safe. Now that the time has changed and we have successfully made our environment quite safer, women can step forward and get educated, pursue their passions, bring economic balance in their families, and share the weight of a family with the men. This, in a communicative way, will also make a country economic progress faster and better. So, uh, in conclusion, I would like to say when all these menaces will be eradicated, every family will understand the value of a woman, and our country will achieve everywhere. And we should all highlight them to change their examples and scenario and give them equal rights. In the end, the performance of India in the Olympics 2021 is the correct example where India has won 7 medals. Out of those 7 medals, 6 came in the individual events, and out of these 6 medals, female athletes won 3. It shows that after facing such hardship, their performance is at par with the male athletes. With so much potential, it is only a matter of time when women will overtake men and have all abilities on display for the world to see. Thank you.
Thank you, Dimple. Thank you for sharing your views on the topic. Now, I'd like Smriti to continue with the event and share the vote of thanks part.
Thank you all for participating in this event, and a hearty thanks to the judges who spared their time to be with us in the event and share their valuable judgments. Next, I'd like to thank Abhishek sir, who gave us the opportunity to organize the event, and the entire team of Project Sahyog Junior, who made this event possible. It was my pleasure having you all join us in the event and make it a success. With that, the event comes to an end. Thank you all.